Hi, welcome to the final video blog here on challengecopenhagen.com. And in this one I'm going to look at the race itself. So how can you actually look into what's going to go through you on the day, and mostly look at the mental aspects of racing a full Ironman. The first thing is to remember and try and enforce both in your training, but also when racing, that you set a sort of a positive, constructive tone for yourself. Say, this is something I do because I want to do it and I love to do it, and that's what's gonna really be your inner story going through yourself throughout the day. It's going to be positive and it's going to be constructive. Whatever comes or whatever is thrown at you, just go to it with a positive, constructive tone. And that's basically what you learn from going through the strenuous preparation and from going through the race itself, is to have a very positive outlook on life, because there's so many things out there that is challenges, but we can only overcome those if we're able to look at a way to solve them, and to do so and still be happy and enjoy what we're doing. So that's number one, set a positive, constructive tone for yourself. Second thing is that to follow the pacing plan and the nutrition plan that you used in your training. That is going to be very, very important for you, that so you have an idea and your body is used to what you go through, that you use the nutrition you're used to and you use it in the amounts you're used to, and you have a very clear idea of what you need, and obviously also that you're pacing, that you know that in the swim that you place yourself well at the start and you don't force it the first kilometer. You have 3.8 kilometers to go, and that you find the pace that you can sustain throughout. And the same thing goes on the bike. When you come on the bike, you're gonna go the first 20k, you're probably gonna have a high heart rate. Use those K to settle it down and find a really nice steady rhythm where you feel excellent because of all the training you've done. You've come into the taper and now obviously you're rested and you're fresh. So you're gonna have the urge, or you're gonna feel the urge to really power on the first lap of the bike, but try and resist to do that. An Ironman is more a test of patience and endurance than it is a test of speed. So basically every urge you have to power along in the beginning, save that in the bank. Save it up for later, save it up for the final half of the run, which is going to be where the real challenge sets in. And remind yourself of that. If you've never been in that position before, just know that the first 90k or the first 120k of the bike, you should be feeling really good. You should be feeling as if you're on top of your pedals and have a good pedal stroke. Obviously, depending on how much you've trained and so forth, you're gonna suffer a little bit at the end of the bike probably, but you can go that and just know and rest assured that a lot of people have been there before you, and that you can translate that into a good run. And the same thing goes for the run. Depending on your preparations and so forth, find a pace that is really comfortable the first 21k, and that is going to set you up for having a good final section of the run. Because basically that's where the real race begins for everyone. That's where we really struggle to get through. So your pacing and nutrition needs to be right as well. Now during the race, you're probably gonna end up in a crisis at one point. Most people who go through an Ironman is gonna end up in that. The very elite athletes who's training 8-9 hours a day to prepare for the event, all of them usually end up in a crisis some point along the run course or the bike course, where they just say, man, fuck it, I don't want to do this anymore, I'm too tired, and they want to sit down in the side of the road and have a Coke or whatever. So everyone is going to go through those patches, and this is where you really have a chance to learn something about yourself, and especially in overcoming those challenges. And I just have a few things that you can actually address while trying to go through this. So when the demons come and you start getting really fatigued, and maybe things are not going your way, try to remain in this positive inner dialogue. That is really one of the key things you can rehearse in training and also bring to your racing. Remain positive and constructive. The second thing you can do is try and focus on your attentional style, as it's called. The way you focus your attention. You can either focus that outwards and in a broad manner. So you look at your surroundings, you look at the wonderful buildings, you cheer on your competitors or the volunteers and so forth. That's a broad focus, a broad outer focus. You can have a narrow outer focus, which is focusing on a mile marker or a kilometer marker, or an aid station or thing like that, or just a corner that you have. I can just run to the next corner, and then don't think beyond that. Just run to that corner, and when that comes, you take another corner, and so forth, and that's going to get you through. You can also focus your attention inside, and that is usually more in the upper end, the experienced end of the field. You would usually tend to go inside yourself when you start to struggle. Maybe you focus wide or broad inside, so you focus on your whole body and your whole rhythm, and even though your legs are hurting and your quads are killing you, you can just try and maintain the rhythm inside and just really have a broad inner focus. You can also have a narrow inner focus, which is when you're in the pain and you actually try and go inside the pain and kind of resolve it that way. And try and look at these in your training and see whatever is suiting you, or look back on your training and say, hey, when I was in trouble back then, I did that, or in past races. You can try and see what kind of attentional style you're using. And actually what experienced people do is that they change between the styles. So maybe you have a broad outer focus and you switch and maybe to a narrow outer focus, and then you go inside and feel the rhythm and so forth. In that way you have something that can constantly remain, allow you to run away from the pain, or actually get inside the pain and absorb it, and just take it for what it is and just continue going. And just remember that the attentional styles. If you get very, very fatigued and you're unable to control your consciousness anymore and where it's going, what I find useful is that I have sort of a mantra that I repeat. This can be the names of your loved ones, or it could be just counting the steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so forth. Or it could be some words or a phrase saying yes, 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 or recognizing that you're happy to do this or whatever. So there's a zillion things on race day, and usually you can try and rehearse these before the race, but don't be sad if it doesn't come through in the race, because often something will come to you in the race. That you can use in the final section of the run to get through it. And that's another point, so try focus on some sort of mantra that you can carry you through in the stages where you're really fatigued. Besides that, I think it's important that you kind of appreciate the ability you have to do this, and try and retain that perspective of what you do. And really cherish that you're out there and you have a good time, and remain positive. Remember that the people that make it possible for you. Remember to cheer on the volunteers as they cheer on you, and remember that inspiration goes both ways. So when you deliver a positive energy to someone, it comes back at you, and help create a positive environment at the race, which is unique to triathlon and important when we go through the challenges we do. And second of all, or last of all, finally of all, remember to share the passion you have for the sport with the people close to you, so they're part of the journey and can get involved in the manner that is great for you. So cherish what you can do. Be proud of yourself. Be proud of the preparation you've had, and I'm sure that you will have the experience and the race of a lifetime here in Copenhagen. Have a great race.